it becomes a lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know? And so honestly, if you're like, hey, I do want to clock in and clock out.
Yeah.
I don't want to work nights and weekends. And I don't want to have to.
Hey, that's when you have a job, right? A job, a just over broke. I'm sure you're
plugging in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's different. Like being an entrepreneur is
a grind.
It's a grind. It's
a
challenging.
fun grind, but it's a grind.
It is a fun grind. What is up? Welcome back to the CA Power Player Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Askins. And today we got he's been on the channel, I think 3 times. I think this is number 4 because the last couple interviews we got so much positive feedback about his ability to help agents reach another level in their career. I love the Rose family and the Rose boys. Amazing group. They're out of Jersey with Diversified in Parsippany, New Jersey to be exact. And they're back in Springfield, Missouri for the about 128th time in the last couple of years. Please welcome Dan Rose.
Thanks for having me back, buddy.
Dude.
Always a pleasure being here.
Thank you.
Good to see you guys if we've seen you before. If not, hopefully we gave you some good content today.
Amen, dude. Amen. The last couple of times we talked about a few different topics, right?
Yeah.
Talked about free leads, talked about helping agents become better producers.
Yeah.
Had some family content.
Yeah.
I was curious, like if you thought about, is there an agent that comes to mind that is maybe new to the organization, but that is really doing well and crushing it?
Yeah. So actually, since the last time we've been on, we've pretty much doubled the size of organization, and it's definitely from sharing content, dude. Being out there. So appreciate
awesome.
it, to you
Thank
and
you. That's amazing.
Your team is doing. But I would say there's a handful right now. And if we're gonna go there, you can't always talk about the positive. You got to talk about the negatives too.
Amen.
There's also a handful that fail out. So if we're gonna talk about the ones that making it, what are they doing right? That's making it. We got to go to the side that's saying what are they doing to fail out, right? Like, unfortunately, there's a lot more on the right side than there are on the left side, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're the math guy here. 92 versus 8, right? But
amen. Yeah, I would say that because statistically, 92% fell out of business in the first 3 years. 8% succeed. Hence, 8% nation. Right, with our events, you have I feel like Diversify has a much higher success rate.
Yeah. So Diversify doesn't lose people unless we choose to lose you.
Wow.
And that's a bold statement, and I get that, and I understand there may be someone hearing that's saying, "Man, where do you get?" That's a pretty big thing. We won't lose an agent unless we allow that agent to go elsewhere. And essentially what we always focus on, the 3 of us, Mike, Anthony, myself, we lose sleep at night when agents don't make it. And if an agent isn't going to make it for one reason or another, and we can't put our heads on the pillow because it's because of us, we're not going to let that agent leave because we're going to find a way to make he or she succeed through the business, right?
That's cool.
When it comes to the teaching side of things, one thing that I always kind of start from the premise of, and do with it what you wish, because I'm a big golf guy. You know that. We talked about golf before.
We still haven't played golf yet.
We need to get out together,
Yeah,
man.
you would
Maybe
smoke
8%.
me,
I'll be
we
lucky
need
enough to be
do
in your group at 8%.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
A couple years ago, I took a lesson, and I use this one with our people a lot. I think this is a great analogy. If you're not into golf, bear with me. It doesn't matter. You still get something from it. But there was a time when my ball went straight out and then hard to the right. Like it just kind of
That's
turned
my current
over.
drive, by the way.
That's exactly how my drives were, right? And I went for a lesson, and going to the instructor and sitting there talking through what I'm doing, the move I'm making, everything. Just straight out, hard right, straight out, hard right, over and over and over. And I thought I was going into the lesson to figure out how to make it go just straight and just stop right there, like just straight out. And what he had to do is he had to take the pendulum and he had to swing it all the way backwards, and he had to make it go from straight out, hard left, straight out, hard left, straight out, hard left.
The opposite. He wasn't trying to fix what was going forward. Was he able to do that really quickly?
Literally in the same lesson, 30-minute lesson, he was able to turn me over from straight out hard right to straight out hard left. He didn't try to get me to go into the middle. He knew the middle was the right way, but he had to get me to feel the effects of the pendulum swinging going the other direction. This way, when I did go out on my own, when I did go out and fail forward, I was kind of coming into the middle, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And I use that with agents all the time because I think it's really important that whatever you're doing here, you still have to over exaggerate the other direction. If you're doing something right, good, keep doing it right. If you're struggling somewhere, over exaggerate the flaw and try to come back and settle into the middle on your own as time goes on. So anyway, I like starting from that premise whenever we're talking to our people.
That's good. Let's start with what are agents doing that causes them to fail?
I think the lack of script is the biggest one, right? They're doing it. A lot of agents are looking for training. All right. You talk to them, even from the last podcast, they're emailing, they're talking. I want to be trained. I want more training. I need this. I need this. My IMO is not giving it to me. But they're not actually using the training that's in front of them, right? Yeah. They're still getting on a 2-hour training call, listening to, getting on the phone the next day, doing the exact same stuff that they did previously. So if you're listening to this podcast, if you're getting something out of this podcast, just try it. Try it for more than one time. Try it for a day. Try it for half a day. Yeah. Right? Those who are asking for help, be flexible enough to take the help. Don't assume you know it all, right? That's the biggest one, I would say, in my opinion.
Script, training. And a lot of times they do have access to resources, it's just whether they're
going to use them. Sometimes agents are too prideful. So that's why agents fail. They're too prideful to accept the help. And if you're not, you're listening to this podcast, right? Go try it. Go work on it.
Amen.
I had one agent literally within the last month try to tell me that something that we do in our training, with the whole sales process, we're pretty intentional about our training. We told them this is what has to happen at minute 4 or 5. And the agent told me flat out, 100% true story, a month ago, I am not going to do that. It's not going to happen. I'm not doing that. And I pretty much said, with all respect, man, I think our business relationship ends right here. How do I get a release? I went through the whole process. At the end of the day, okay, I'll start doing it. And it was because it was everybody's fault but his own. So when you want to say like agents who are success leaves clues, just listen to another agent for a day. The ones who fail, unfortunately, they have the same clues, and it's not always the best thing. It's because they're in their own way.
Yeah.
Get out of your own way. You know,
and you could be in your own way in different ways too. It's like, yes, I'm too prideful with an ego that I won't accept help or I won't do what people say. Lack of coachability. There's also the in my own way, as in like, I know I need to do this activity, but I really just don't want to do it. I'm scared. I'm whatever, right? And I get jumping in this business, making dials, calling leads, doing different stuff is not necessarily easy, but it's like that's what leads
to success.
Yeah,
fail forward, right? Like you got to fail forward, and grabbing someone who's going to listen to you and coach you along the way is always going to help you. But if you're not willing to take their instruction, you're going nowhere, right?
Amen.
Yeah.
What about the those that succeed and do well? What do you notice about those handful of agents?
It's replicable. It starts as small and scalable, and then what they're doing just grows and grows, and you could repeat it over and over again, right? Saying a specific phrase, for argument's sake, you can repeat. Let's just talk to a Medicare agent for a second. How you're asking for drugs. Okay, Mrs. Smith, go get the drugs out of your cabinet and tell me what they are. That's one way an agent asks, and that agent's probably going to fail along the way. Versus specifically saying the successful agents, Mr. Smith, if you're anything like me, those drugs that you're on are very difficult to pronounce. So if you could do me a favor, just so that I don't write it down wrong, instead of reading me the label, can you just say the letters to the label? Read off to me, Adverstatin. Spell it out for me. Don't read it to me, because if you're like me, you're going to pronounce it wrong, and I do it all the time. So just spell it out to me. 2 different ways. The good agents are going to the extra step to kind of help the client along, as opposed to just give me the drugs. Tell
them what to do.
Yeah.
Or what's your opinion on, hey, can you tell me what prescription drugs you're on?
That's a perfect example. Is tell me what prescription drugs you're on, but instead of telling me them, why don't you just read the label off and just spell it out for me? Some of them are hard to say. Some of them get really confusing. Statins this, statin that. Just
and they really don't want to try to guess how to say them anyway,
because they're embarrassed by how to say it. They don't know how to say them, so we're kind of helping them along.
And it's funny, they think the agent knows how to pronounce them all, and so then it is kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, most agents don't know how to either. So
it helps them along.
You learn naturally. I remember some
same drugs over and over and over again on the website too. Yeah. But it's definitely the direction and the intention of what you're saying when you're asking the right question.
That's cool.
That's what the successful agents are doing. They're very methodical about their question asking.
It's good. Methodical about question asking. They're plugging into what's working
for sure,
and they're not. They're just literally doing the exact same thing.
It's also not a hobby, right? Like it's like literally day after day after day after day. They're doing something to get better. Talking to an agent, reading a book, listening to a podcast, like you guys are here now. there's no days off, right? One thing I've learned in this business, my wife knows as well, there are no days off. You can get a text from an agent, a text from a client any time of the day. I've literally for the last week and a half been working on 3 of my best friends are brothers, right? And their parents are clients. And literally for the last week and a half, I've been talking to them for the last few days about all the challenges that they're going through, just kind of walking them through it. There are no days off. The other day, it was literally, I was with my one buddy on Saturday night. I talked to his parent, his mother at 11:30 at night on Saturday night. There are no days off. So no matter what you're doing, you have to find a way to get better. If you're in your car on your work, on the way to church on Sunday morning, if you're heading home from work on Monday night, and it's been a long start to the week after a long weekend, you got to turn something on and get yourself, there's no time off in this business.
Amen, dude. Amen. Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I worked on my honeymoon. I don't know about you. I'm sure you did.
Oh,
There's no days off.
Yeah.
Like, that's it,
I did fantasy football on my honeymoon.
There you go.
Maybe I shouldn't have done that.
That's what you're doing at the time, right? You're on the show at the time.
No days off,
Yeah.
Like well, and it's too, it becomes a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And so honestly, if you're like, hey, I do want to clock in and clock out.
Yeah.
I don't want to work nights and weekends. And I don't want to have to.
Hey, that's when you have a job, right? A job, a just over broke. I'm sure
you're
you all these
plugging
people,
in. Yeah. And so it's different. Like being an entrepreneur is
a grind.
It's a grind. It's
It's
challenging.
a fun grind, but it's a grind.
It is a fun grind. I told Lauren's like, there's some mornings she'll wake up and she'll look at me and be like, man, owning a business is hard.
Yeah.
There's other mornings she'll be like, man, owning a business is amazing.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of good too. A lot of good. There's the good more than outweighs the bad, but it's getting through out of your own way, plugging in, doing the work, investing in your business, getting creative.
Did you ever read the book Soup by John Gordon?
No, but I've heard of it.
That's literally what we're talking about right now, right? So like it's like everybody is, and I'm not going to give the whole spoiler of the book for someone who does want to read it. Great book, John Gordon. Anything you read by John Gordon, it's going to help you along. Great in the car, audible kind of stuff. But specifically in Soup, it's basically you are the chef of your own life. And I'm paraphrasing a little bit. If you did read it, don't kill me in the comments. But I'm paraphrasing, so I'm not killing it for everybody else. But essentially, the Soup is you are the chef of your own life, and what goes into your soup, the quality of the ingredients, the way that they were cut, the temperature of the water, everything. You are the chef of your own life, and how good do you want your soup to go in? Well, you have to focus on what goes into your soup in order to have the best French onion, the best beef and broccoli soup, whatever. You get my point, my attitude here. But yeah, that definitely hits a lot of it. Yeah,
that's good. I'm going to interrupt the podcast to tell you about our CABOOM leads that are literally blowing up. If you would love to never get disconnected numbers or wrong numbers ever again, then you will love our leads at CABOOM Leads. All of our lead types, we text the prospect a 6-digit security code. They go back in the funnel and put that in to verify that it is a real, accurate cell phone number, and they've responded to a text message. We do this for all of our lead types. If you haven't tried CABOOM Leads, you can use coupon code podcast to get 10% off of your very first order at CABOOMleads.com. Back to the show. You're a part of a family of really entrepreneurs that have all ended up succeeding at a fairly high level.
Yeah.
We'll call it that.
Okay.
Right? What have you noticed amongst your family that maybe y'all were taught, maybe it was in your DNA, maybe it's part of your personalities that others can relate to?
We are definitely a no quit family. There is like, and
I feel that.
I'll tell you that I'll tell you what though, that's a positive and a negative, right? Sometimes there's thumbs that become prideful that, maybe it's not going well and we just probably should move on. We should cut ties, move forward, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And we're just a no quit family. So because of that, that's definitely helped us get to where we are in this business and in our relationships with our agents. We are no quit. Like I said, there's flaws to that, but we are just, that's definitely in our DNA.
That's good.
That there is a sense of no failure, not going to happen. We'll stumble along the way. We're definitely no failure. No quit.
Who's the most stubborn of you, Mike, and Anthony?
Definitely me.
Yeah?
Yeah, for sure. Positively.
Whoa.
So I'm for those of you who know about us, our Mike Sr. is our father. He started the business in the late 70s, and each in turn, my oldest brother Anthony, my older brother Mike, there's a sister between us and myself. Our sister's not involved in the business, but the three of us came into the business at different times. Well, I just mentioned I'm the youngest one, right?
Yeah.
So I'm the one that's always the aggressive fighter, trying to make it at the table, trying to, get to the next level.
Was there always
So I
a
would say I'm
sense to
stubborn.
prove yourself?
For sure.
Yeah.
Being the youngest, for sure. Yeah. So
Youngest and most stubborn. So
I'm the loudest. I always had to be heard. Like,
yeah. What would you say about the other two?
Anthony is definitely like the wisdom man, right? Like everything he's come from is coming from a time of wisdom. And Mike, everything he always brings the faith, right? So
but it does attract and help different people.
For sure.
That's
along
the
the
cool
way.
thing about like a lot of organizations. An agent will plug in and be like, you either get help or you don't. You either like your upline, or you don't, whatever, right? You have options where some probably prefer to talk to you.
Yeah.
Some probably prefer to talk to Mike.
Especially if it's a younger guy, right? So like for argument's sake, we have one guy who was so when I was in college, I was a student manager at Seton Hall University for the basketball team. Traveled with the team my whole 4 years.
Did you really?
Yeah. My sophomore year, we went to Duke. We lost to JJ by 50, literally 5-0.
Oh my
gosh. In the preseason NIT when they had it at that time.
Awesome.
Long story, it doesn't matter.
Now he's about to get kicked out of the first round of the playoffs.
And he deserves to,
Lakers.
but whatever, different conversation.
Jeez.
With that being said, we have another manager on our team that was literally a college basketball manager at a different school, younger guy. It just was a natural fit, right? Like it just kind of aligned.
It's cool, man.
So
that's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, right on.
Also too, okay, so here's last question.
Yeah.
When you think through, like there's a few individuals with you here today at a workshop here in Missouri.
Yeah.
You got Fred, you got Seth, and you got Joe. I almost said
that's hilarious.
As a joke. Joe, right? What is it about these individuals that others could learn from? Because these are some of and you have a lot of amazing people. These are some of the top individuals in your organization.
Absolutely. I would say everyone has their own story to tell, which is the cool thing about this business, right? We all are here at the table for a different reason, from a different grind, right? Yeah. I would say the cool thing about, specifically Joe, young guy, literally got into business with the understanding that he was going to provide a lifestyle to his family that he never had. So that was, and he's still young. He's in his mid-20s, right?
He's still in his mid-20s.
Yeah.
How crazy is that, man?
When it comes to Fred, guy just workaholic, right? Like literally on the phone from 7 a.m. until 11 p.m. every single day.
Wow.
Just grinding through.
You said 7 a.m. to 11 p.m.?
7 a.m. to 11 p.m. Yeah. Legitimately, before I came here this morning, I had 13 emails from him. Like I could show you all. And like he was literally, we were talking about on the way here, he was grinding all morning just from all different stuff. And I can assure you by 11 p.m. tonight, he's still working on something. Just a grinder.
That's incredible. That's rare.
That's very rare. And this is like, he's a little bit later in his career. This is a different path than what he did. Originally, he was just an agent. That's all. And now he's got an agency with like 325 agents underneath him that he's just growing fast.
And do you think too, it's because he's later in his career, it's like hustling to make up for lost time?
I think so. Yeah, for sure. And
feel
at the end of the day, everybody gets their reason why at a different time. So if you get enough strength on, stronghold on your why, it's gonna go faster. And then you got Seth. Yeah. Seth is just a star. Seth has been a star for a long time, and it's all come together for him. The stars aligned, right? That's all.
It was the Eagle Award winner last
2024. Yeah. So he's
a
big part of our organization for many years.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
You got a bunch of good people. I think what's cool about what y'all do and what other people can learn from and relate to is like people matter. People that help you and mentor you in this business are honestly one of the most important elements of all of it. Like we could say being independent or captive. We could say being, commissions. You could say carriers. You could say the training, the onboarding, the shadowing. Like there's a lot of different things you could say. But the fact that you guys care a ton matters.
Our people are everything. Like I've said it many times. Because we're second generation in this business, we were taught, you probably as well, right? Yeah. The agents are an extension of our dining room table in our home, right? Like they're literally that important to us. Wow. They're not just,
a number.
With a number. We know their kids' names, right? Like
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, if they want to continue to follow your journey and plug in or learn more or chat, what should they do or where should they go?
Shoot me an email, dan@thediv.com. I always use this one, dan@thediv.com. DanIglooVictory.com. And I was like victory as the most important one. So
that's right.
Right on.
Amen. I love that.
My wife
Dan
makes fun of me for that one all the time. Dan Igloo Victory.
Dan Igloo Victory. Where's the igloo part come from?
I have no idea.
No idea. It's just random. I love it.
But the victory part is always the important one.
DanIglooVictory.com. Very cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being on the podcast.
It's a pleasure, man. Thank you.
Thanks for being in Missouri. Thanks for being a part of what we're doing. And thank you for sharing with our audience.
Sure.
Appreciate you. Also, appreciate you guys hanging and learning and listening today. Let us know in comments below what you thought of our podcast with Dan and what was your favorite part? Like if you said, man, I need to get better at this or plug into this. We're talking a lot today about the mindset of success, the mindset of top producers, the mindset of people that he's seen fail or succeed. And there's a lot of you out there that have the ability to succeed at a high level. Maybe you're in your own way. Maybe there's some pride in the way. Maybe there's a lack of plugged into good people. I want to encourage you to lean in and not be like those that fell, because we want to help you succeed. Thanks for listening to the Power Player Podcast. We will see you on the next one. CABOOM.